First of all, I wanted to thank you for making Hulk so cool again. After so many actors who weren't able to get him right, how did you approach the character that was different from the others?
Well, I felt like the others did a pretty good job, personally. I think I have to really hand it to Joss Whedon because he's the one who really kind of reinvented him, and I just think he gave him a sense of humor a little bit. It's hard to watch a character who doesn't want to do the one thing that you want him to do more than anything else.
Right.
And I think that was probably the problem with why it's been hard to pull those movies off, and why Hulk and Banner work really well in an ensemble.
How do you feel about Hulk finally getting his own story arc?
I'm thrilled about it. I mean, this is the third time I've played him, and I always am a little frustrated because I want to know more about him. I want to explore him as a character. It's really enigmatic to me, and so we get to start to do this now, and it'll carry on. The relationship between Banner and Hulk's really interesting, and we haven't really gotten to explore that very much. So in this movie and the next two movies, there's a lot more of that.
Okay. Within the context of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Hulk is obviously hated, and he's feared by a lot of people. But we finally in this film get to see him on Sakaar, and he's a champion now, and he's loved. Yeah. How does that make you feel, and what's his mindset like now?
He's pretty happy.
Yeah.
I mean,
Clearly.
Yeah, and he's never had a life. He's always sort of been connected to Banner. For the first time, he has an existence that isn't just predicated on Banner being angry.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, it's been interesting. I've always wondered about him. Like, how does he do it? How does he spend his day?
Mm-hmm.
How does he eat? How does he sleep? What would he wear?
What do you think he does?
What do I think?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's what you see in here. I think this is the beginning of it, and yeah, he's a really interesing character. He's like a 6-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
He's
stringing sentences.
Yeah, he's developing very slowly.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, he's developing quickly, but I'm interested to see who he ends up being as time goes on.
So, Hela is the first female villain that we are seeing in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
What's your take on that, and what does she bring to the Cinematic Universe that's different from all the other villains that we've seen so far?
There's a kind of delicious wickedness in her, and she has a sense of humor, and she's very she's deadly but also incredibly alluring.
Mm-hmm.
She's so dangerous and fun. You couldn't have a better superhero and a supervillain than her in this movie.
Okay. You seem to be getting a lot of attention for all the leaks that you've been putting out there, and the behind-the-scenes looks that you've been putting out there.
Yeah.
What's your take on all the secrecy that goes on behind the whole cinematic universe, and what do you feel about that?
I appreciate it. I understand it. I was really embarrassing. I was sitting in the movie and someone came and poked me. Like, your phone's on. You're still on Instagram Live. And I was like, oh. And I pulled it out. And of course, it was still happening. And oh man, it was embarrassing. Mm-hmm. But technology, I never used Instagram Live. All my people, Marvel is like, we really want you to Instagram Live your experience here. So then I do it, of course, and I don't know how to do it, and I mess it up. I think it's funny, some of the stuff. I like to play around with the idea of the leaks, or people think I've leaked something, but I haven't really leaked something. I like to push I like to play with that, but ultimately I really respect what Marvel is asking of us, and for the most part I don't really give away anything for real. It's a lot of maybe it is real.
First of all, congratulations on making such a fun film. Thor was absolutely fantastic in this film.
Thank you.
And one of the first Thor films that I really enjoyed, and I wanted to go right back in and watch it all over again.
Oh,
Right.
cool,
Yeah,
good.
Thank you.
It was a lot of fun.
That's the best review you could ever get,
That's
isn't
right.
it? I wanted to see it straight away.
Straight away.
Absolutely, there's so many little things that you put in there that,
Yeah.
that you miss out on the first time around, so
Yeah.
you want to catch it again.
Well, we said that at the premiere, that everyone was laughing over one joke, you'd miss the next joke.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. People go back
Yep.
2-3 times and you'll pick up all sorts of different hidden gems in there.
Okay. Taika, you clearly have your imprint on this film, and how are you able to do that within the Marvel sandbox and still have your own unique touch and flavor to this?
Well, they're very good at allowing directors to have a lot of freedom and to do that, but also it's not my source material, and it's all that stuff is well established for the last 70 years. So Marvel is very good at making sure it keeps in line with what their vision is for these characters, for these films, also the broader MCU as well. Like I don't have to worry at all about how this movie affects Avengers or how this links up with Ant-Man, or how that's all their job, and that's what they're good at because they've got the master plan. All I have to do is just concentrate on my little story and make the best film I can.
Chris, this is you've done a few solo films and team films now. How was the experience working on this different from the others that you've done so far?
Oh, this was the best for me. This was the most enjoyable. Because I think I played it 5 times before this, and it just was becoming very familiar, and I was kind of a little bored of what I was doing with the character. And so, you have the opportunity to reinvent it and kind of just experiment and take risks and have more fun and inject a whole lot more humor into it was just awesome. We laughed every day on set, and had so much fun.
And I think that translates very well on screen as well.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was. A lot of times when people are kind of about to break in character and crack up.
Yeah, there's a bit when he's talking to Hulk and he's laughing for real, with something a delivery that Mark gave.
Yeah.
And that stuff, audiences really react to that because you can tell
It's genuine.
it's genuine,
really,
and it's actually like humans enjoying making this movie.
Right. Chris, Thor seems to have lost everything at this point. He's lost Mjolnir, he's lost Asgard. What's going on in his mindset like? And Taika, how are you able to sort of communicate that in the film?
I think he's definitely losing control. Everything is shifting and breaking and being destroyed around him, which was great because it just forces him to also react differently, and it puts him on the back foot. I like the uncertainty the character has and the sort of constantly kind of this juggling act trying to keep the pieces together. And as opposed to the previous versions where he's a bit more all-knowing and certain and sure-footed, it's a little predictable to watch. I think there's a unpredictability now, which was much more interesting.
And I think for a hero as strong and and as beautiful and as as perfect as this god Thor is, it's very hard to imagine or to kind of to be on someone like that side. You really want to see them stripped down, they lose everything, and then they become more like us, in our lowest moments. So that's how you want to, you want the audience to be on that journey with him, and not to think, oh, why don't you just a rich kid, from outer space, you can just go home anytime you want, and when you take everything away and
golden
make
palace,
him, exactly, and you make him like us, then we can we can finally relate to him.
Yeah.
Okay, one question for the both of you. If there's one thing that you would change about the Marvel Cinematic Universe, what would it be?
Well, we did it.
I'd change the name to Taika Cinematic Universe.
So would I.
And then I'd get all that money come to my bank account.
Yeah, one thing
That's
is
the first thing I'd change.
Redirection of funds.
I'd get all the
this.
fun. Yeah, I'd give my bank account number.
Yep.
With the Swift code
and my branch.
the routing number and stuff. Yeah, from my bank account. I'd get a bank account in the Cayman Islands.
Or just a big bucket to fill it with cash.
Yeah, a big bucket.
Like a really, really big bucket.
Yeah.
Or a truck.
I'd get all the money and turn it into a bucket. I'd get it, put it in, I'd buy gold.
I was going to say that.
I'd turn it all into gold, melt that down, and then make a big bucket.
And just like swim in it.
That was a lot of fun. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you.